correctly. But I think it would be incorrect, and we would be remiss if we were to assume that this church would never grow into the building because its current use is small and very low. Most churches, when they buy a small building, do grow into that space. Otherwise, they wouldn't buy the larger space. So the staff has recommended that, to the best of our ability, based on the information that the applicant provided us on how the space was going to be used in the building, a parking ratio that appeared to be appropriate. We are certainly open to any additional information he would provide us, but I do not believe, given the nature of the way this particular church operates, that we should not be providing for the impact of the remaining use of the building, which goes beyond those smaller Sunday services.
So, what would be gained by deferring this application? Do you think the staff has done adequate analysis?
With the information that the staff currently has, yes, I think that's the best analysis we're going to do. If the applicant believes that there is more information and better information that he can provide us, which can give us better guidance in terms of how this building will be used, then the staff is certainly open to receiving that.
There's more information to provide?
Absolutely. We've engaged Kinley Horn to do a parking analysis, and they do not, that was only suggested Friday when we received the staff analysis. Up to that point, we were told there was going to be a 1 to 30, one space for every 30 square feet is what was indicated at the initial public information meeting, is what the calculation was going to be used. That's what the due diligence showed as well. Going back to Nancy's comment about non-traditional church, I never said anything about their non-traditional church. I did say that they do not operate as a non-traditional Christian church, specifically as it related to a question that came up regarding Buckhead Church, which used to be in the old Harris Teeter grocery store. That was a concern, particularly for several different homeowners associations, because of the fact that they did not have enough parking. It spilled over onto Roswell Road, into neighborhoods, et cetera, caused a problem. In addressing that, I pointed out that this church does not operate as a traditional Christian church in that everything's concentrated at one point in time, a couple of times or 3 times a day on Sunday, and then of course Christian churches have stuff going on all the time, but that's their largest time period of use. That actually is an advantage because it spreads the need for parking over a longer period of time and spreads out the traffic as well.
I've got one other question for Mark. One of the variances talk about the variance for the signage on the right-of-way. Typically, Public Works would try to like to see that. I saw no comment. Maybe I missed it.
No, we don't. That's, if I understand correctly, that was an existing sign that was there but outside the clear zone at that location. So that's why we did not have any comment. Because typically, as you know from DCA cases where it is an existing sign and it is outside of the clear zone, we have typically not with an indemnification alignment. So that's been our sort of our standard course. And that's my recollection of this one.
If I could follow up. The applicant's original legal included right-of-way that was shown on a Fulton County tax plat. I believe we have since determined that it is not right-of-way, and so the sign is actually not in the right-of-way.
Is the piece that we're rezoning what's shown in this shade, or is it actually the entire piece that abuts the post office, or what is it we're rezoning here? I've got this sheet here. So what is
is the graphic colored copy that we got, which is on page either 5 or 4 or 5. It shows a part of the triangle that's not in the rezoning, is that correct?
I'm sorry, I missed part of your question.
Are we including that in the zoning? So the map that we have in the color here is incorrect?
The original submittal, the original legal was incorrect, and so it's been corrected, but that's not in there.
Okay, and let me ask, if I may, Mr. Chairman, there are at least 2 on page 1 that talk about existing signs that we're granting variance for. Why should we do that? Why shouldn't we enforce a rule because the county gave them a variance? Why should we accept that?
The sign variance that we indicate was the one that was in the right of way and it's no longer in the right of way, it's no longer needed, it can be withdrawn.
Okay, what about the one that says you can park in the front yard setback in the side corner?
That's the existing parking on the property.
Why should we leave that there?
Well, the staff has recommended that you include that parking because we believe it's needed for the building.
Well, but if they don't get the variance, then they need to have other issues, or have other issues.
That's correct.
In the same way with the 20-foot setback to 5 foot, if we don't grant that,
Those are all existing.
so I would like a statement from the staff as to why we should accept the existing rule.
You have an existing building, staff is not recommending that the existing building be taken down.
Well, I accept that, but
You therefore require the variances because they don't meet the current requirements of the ordinance, but it is the existing building.
my question really is how they got there in the first place.
The answer is I don't even know if the ordinance at the time that this building was constructed had the same setback, so I'm not sure that I can tell you that it might not have been legal at the time that it went in and subsequently became legal non-conforming.
All right. The current zoning is O&I Office and Institutional District conditional to Office and Institution to O&I Office and Institutional District. The O&I current zoning conditional, what does that call for?
It allows the office use in the same square footage as the square footage of the building. But the new use, the change is because church was not included in the uses that were permitted under their zoning case.
And what type of a deferral period is recommended if we go in that direction?
We suggest that we deferred, that, well, we'll have to go to the mayor and council because yours is a recommendation for deferral, so it would be a 60-day.
Have you had any discussion, Woody, or contemplate any discussion with perhaps the post office or the office buildings on Glenridge Drive as a backup plan for any alternative additional parking?
Well, that kind of goes to both your question and Mr. Rupnow's question. The property originally, when it was originally zoned in 83, 84, included property that is now owned by the post office. There was when Marty Marchman originally developed that property, there was a second office building that was supposed to be back there. That's why there's such a funky shape to this, is that the post office, in putting together several parcels, needed part of the Marchman piece in order to make their post office work, but they didn't need what shows up as part